Hello everyone, I'm Aaron from DataStax, and today I'm here to talk to you all about bringing your own observability stack with DataStax Mission Control. All right, let's see if we can connect those up. Let's go. So when you installed Mission Control, you would have had to have used the COTS system to do so. So you'll go to your Mission Control URL, but at port 8800 instead, and this actually gets you into the COTS config underneath Mission Control. Now, when you first install Mission Control on your control plane nodes, it's going to give you a default password. You should change that password, and that's really what you should be using in the long term. But anyway, this is where you'll want to put your Mission Control COTS password. So I'll just go ahead and put that in there, and I'll log in. All right, now inside of here, you can see that I absolutely do have a Mission Control cluster running here. You know, I can have a look at all my nodes underneath. You see I have a control plane node. I have my database nodes 0, 1, and 2, so 3 database nodes. And then I have my platform nodes, which are nodes 0, platform 0, and platform 1. Those are actually where Mission Control's components for logging and metrics are running, which are also known as, I believe, Loki and Mimir. If we go back to the application here, and then over to the config tab, and then what we're going to do is we're going to look for this observability custom pipelines, and specifically we want the custom vector aggregator sinks. For metrics collection, vector is the product that's underneath. Now, to get this to work, we're actually going to use a component called Prometheus Remote Write. And this is important because the system that I'm using is my own Prometheus monitoring stack that I'm going to use to monitor my clusters inside of Mission Control. So with Prometheus Remote Write, it gives me a sink configuration here that I can use. And Mission Control is going to expect that in a YAML format, kind of like this. So essentially how this works is you define, your sink, you gave it a unique label or identifier, you specify a type of Prometheus Remote Write, you define your inputs, and then you give it the endpoint. Now there are some other properties too that we'll end up using, but this is the way this Prometheus Remote Write Sink is how we're going to go about pushing our metrics from our Cassandra cluster in Mission Control out to my Prometheus observability stack. So if we go back to COTS config and down to the custom vector aggregator sinks, this is where we're going to define our Prometheus Remote Write Sink. So what I'm going to do is grab the configuration that I know works, and I'm going to paste that in here. All right, so as you can see, I'm going to call this, I'm using the external service logit.io. So I'm going to call this logit.io Prometheus. We're going to have a type of Prometheus Remote Write. Our inputs are going to be internal metrics and vector. Now remember, vector is the tool that's running underneath. And if you look, we have a list of default data sources here inside the description of what this custom vector aggregator sink does. And you can see that vector and internal metrics are the first two options. Now, Prometheus works with the snappy compression algorithm, so I'm going to specify that. My logit.io account actually has this custom URL, which I'm going to put in here for my endpoint. And it uses basic auth. So I'm going to specify my username and password. Down here, I've adjusted my requests retry attempts down to 0. All right, and with that specified, I'm going to go down to save config. All right, the config for Mission Control has been updated. And I'm going to click Go to Updated Version. Okay, now you'll notice that I do have a config change in the newest version, but that's not the currently deployed version of Mission Control. So COTS is giving me the option here to deploy my new configuration change. And I will go ahead and click that blue deploy button and verify it. Now this is going to take a little bit. And there you go. It has successfully deployed. All right. Now, if I go to my Grafana dashboard, which is out at logit.io, I'm going to say add visualization. And you can see I have my Prometheus data source right here. So I'm going to click that. And you can see that there's no data. But if I click here, you can see that I do have quite a bit of data here. So I'm going to go for JVM. Let's see here. So I'm going to say JVM memory pools G1 Eden space used. And then if I run that, for the last 30 minutes, you can see that these are the 3 nodes in my cluster. And you can see the amount of new heap space that they've used inside of their JVMs. So, hey, metrics are coming through and I can start building out my dashboards and panels. For more information on DataStax Mission Control, just head on out to datastax.com/products/mission control. There you can find all the information you need, including downloads and documentation. Thank you and have a great day.